Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am gonna give y'all the tea on what I know and what I use to foundation match online. So if you are interested in this video, please keep on watching.
It's Slim Reshae, natural beauty. It's Slim Reshae, all about natural beauty. Yeah, Slim Reshae.
Alright, so elephant in the room, bare face shawty, skin, regular degla schmegla. It's not, thriving right now, but that's okay. That's my business. You ain't my business, don't do that. But anyway, this little wig, head on over to Instagram if y'all want details. Hit up my girl, Unit Gang by Ashley Nicole. And then this scarf and shirt are both from Shein. I have a Shein haul with this shirt in it and the scarf. Hopefully I'll remember and link it down below if you guys are interested. So, earrings are also from Shein, coming to a haul near you. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and get that out the way so we can just get straight into it. So I've been asking you guys to hashtag match me please, hashtag foundation me please, so I can bring you guys this video if y'all were interested in it. And y'all said y'all was interested by the way I was using up that hashtag. So here's the video. So if you don't know, with COVID-19 and everything like that, you can't swatch things in store like you used to. And so now a lot of people are ordering their foundation and concealer online, especially if they can't get to the actual store to make these purchases. And so I want to start off first by addressing a few questions that I got in my original shade match video. If you haven't watched that, click up here, get all the information, and then come back. So I touched on undertones. So your skin, everyone's skin has a certain undertone, and I'll insert like a little image of how you can kind of determine your undertone. And this is just based off of my research. So it basically says if you have a warm undertone, your skin has like a yellow, gold, peachy feel to it or look to it. I consider myself warm. So I have a little bit yellow, a little peachy feel, a little golden undertone. And a way to kind of figure it out is if you look at your veins, they say your veins will look a little bit green or kind of olive through your skin. And mine indeed look olivey green. So then your neutral undertones, those are people who their skin's not really pink, or it's not really pink, red, or blue, nor is it like yellow, gold, or peach. And basically this graphic says that you can tell if you're kind of neutral if you have bluish, greenish veins, if your veins look bluish, greenish. And it's kind of confusing because when you think warm, you think like red, and when you think cool, you think blue, but it's kind of the opposite. So your warm is going to be your yellow, golden tones, and cool is going to be like if your skin has like a pinkish, reddish, or a bluish kind of tone to it. And you can kind of tell if your veins look very blue and or purple. So those are the three main undertones. You do have olive undertones, which is not depicted in the little graphic, but it's just if you look at your, sometimes when people say, oh my gosh, you looking a little gray, or you looking a little green. Nobody really say that often, but if someone were to tell you that, that would mean like the hue of your face is looking like a little green or a little gray. So if the overall hue of your face looks a little green, you may be like olive undertone. So outside of undertones, which you kind of need to know because a lot of foundations online list what their undertone is. They might not always be correct, but they do list it, so it can be helpful to know that. And then secondly, like right now it's transitioning into fall, summer is fading away. So if you're looking to purchase foundation, you're gonna have different, 9 times out of 10, you'll have different shades for the season. So in the summer, if you're being exposed more to the sunlight, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be a little bit more tan, a little bit darker than your foundation shade that you will wear in the winter or in the fall when it starts cooling down, you're not in the sun as much, and your skin tone seemingly lightens. So you may need 2 different shades for the summer versus the winter months. So I wanted to kind of point those things out because it's very important. And then there is 2 big things that help me figure out what foundation to get online, whether it's online or in store, because in store, like I said, you still can't swatch it. So if you kind of use these methods online, when you get in store to purchase it or have the sales associate put it on, you know, the plexiglass so you can see what it looks like, then you'll kind of be able to guesstimate a little bit better. I know this is a lot of talking, but it's vital information if you're trying to figure out your shade. So this video isn't really for people who have absolutely no clue what they should wear, just because you really don't know until you try it. And since we can't try it, this video kind of like tags people who at least have one foundation that they know is close to their shade. Now, for the people who don't know what to choose in general, that's not to say that this video isn't going to be helpful, but I just wanted to put that out there because one of the methods, or both of these methods, are specifically in comparison to a foundation shade that you already know matches your tone or is similar. So I was in Ulta and I was trying to figure out what my shade should be in the Juvia's Place I Am Magic foundation. And so I got on Google and I was like, okay, let me Google Juvia's Place comparison chart, just because, I mean, I need a comparison for foundation shades. And it just so happened, now this is fairly accurate based on my shades, but the comparison chart is Juvia's Place and then it lists like some other foundations. So I went on the list to see what shades that I know work for me. Okay, so I went on here and looked for the NARS Radiant Longwear Foundation in Macau, and this gave me the shade Malawi, which is this shade right here. So I'm gonna swatch this so you can kind of compare them all so you can see how close the comparisons are. I'm gonna swatch the NARS foundation. This is my NARS shade. Can y'all see? Let me turn this up. Okay, so I adjusted the lighting so you could see. So this is my NARS shade right here. And then this is Malawi based on the Juvia's Place comparison chart. So those are the 2 shades. Although they're not the same, obviously, they are, it was in the ballpark. Because right now, without being able to try it on, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get it spot on. So it's going to be in the ballpark. So I'm just going to show y'all kind of how this blends out on this side versus my, I'm using opposite sides of the brush. So you can see they both work for my skin tone. However, this Juvia's Place one is a little bit darker. But if you diffuse it out, because the Juvia's Place one is heavier coverage, so you have to take that into account. You can kind of see how this one is obviously darker, but they're not far and they both work. So that comparison chart that I showed you guys on the screen, that's really only helpful with the Juvia's Place foundation, but it is slightly off, but it will give you a ballpark guesstimate of what shade you should try. Now, The second way is through this, someone actually commented and on the last shade match video, and they told me to try foundation.com, and I'll put it on the screen. And when I found this, I was like, oh my gosh, how did I not know about this? And so you basically are able to put in your foundation match that you already know, and then it will bring up all the similar foundation shades for any other brand that coincide with your initial foundation match. And if you have multiple, you can put in multiple matches so it can bring up, you know, a wider variety of shades. But so I did this, and I went to foundation.com, and I put in my NARS shade, which again is the NARS. I used the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in the shade Macao. And so this is what I used. And this is a little bit of my summer shade. I will show you guys my like fall winter shade as well. But this is the, like, this is what I started with, the base. And so again, I'm going to swatch this just so you guys can see it on my face. And so like that's literally like my perfect summer shade. And so when I went through the results for this one, I'm gonna swatch all the different foundations that came up as a match to NARS Macao, so y'all can kind of see the differences but the similarities. So if you like know what your Maybelline Fit Me shade is, and you trying to find another foundation, you're able to find it with foundation.com. And so the first one that popped up, the first one that I saw is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in Chai. And the way I got this shade match, I think I swatched in store, so it should be close. And so we're close. This one is a little bit more on the orangey side, a little bit warmer than this one. This one runs a little bit neutral, in my opinion. I probably should read what it says, huh? It also matched with the Maybelline Fit Me in Coconut, which is $3.55, and I already know the undertone for this is going to be slightly off because this is reddish, orangish. So it's almost in between these two. It's not as orange as the Too Faced one. It's a little bit more red. Another match it came with was the L'Oreal Infallible foundation. This is the 24-hour fresh wear foundation in the shade 515 Copper. And this one I actually just kind of eyeballed it in the store to pick up this shade. So it's funny when I went on foundation.com that it showed up as a match. Definitely different than these. Okay, so y'all see the shade range, and obviously some foundations oxidize. So as you can see, although this one is a little bit red, it's looking a little bit better. This second one, Chai, looks good compared to my original. So out of these four, the L'Oreal Infallible one is actually the one that doesn't match as much, in my opinion. So I guess I can't say always if it's my opinion, but I always recommend going deeper with your foundation, because when you go lighter, it's harder to blend it out and make it work. If you go darker, you can always like lighten it up and make it look good with concealer. So I actually have 3 more foundations that we're gonna compare to this. So the next one that matched was the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define foundation, and this is in the shade F13. In this one, I also guessed. I've gotten pretty good at guessing my shade. And that, she's light, okay? As you can see, foundation.com isn't like a surefire, all of them gonna match equally, but they're kind of close. If I covered the, my hand's going through it. I snipped my thumb the other day. Anyway, so I'm gonna cover these shades, and if you just if you just look at the last one, it could probably blend in with my face, but it's just on the lighter end of the spectrum. So you wouldn't, out of all of these, you wouldn't choose this lightest color. You would go with one of the darker ones. Because if you go light, this does match the lighter areas of my face. But when it comes to like matching my neck, matching my arms, matching my chest, that's when you're going to have some issues and your face is going to look ashy because it's light. So I got 2 more foundations that are supposedly a match to this NARS. And this one is the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect in 13 Chestnut. And this was a holy grail for a long little while when I was doing my drugstore tip. And let's see if we can fit it back here. As you can see, as we just sat here over a little bit of time, I think the L'Oreal Infallible oxidized a little bit because now it's not standing out as the lightest shade. It actually looks a little bit blended versus this one strip right here of the Makeup Revolution foundation that is clearly too light. And then last but not least, we have the e.l.f. foundation it actually matched with. So I like foundation because it matches high-end and drugstore. So no matter what your price point is, you can find a similar match for you. And as you can see, the only one that's majorly off is the Makeup Revolution foundation. So the e.l.f. one is in the shade Cocoa. That's the match. And I'm going to put this one right here. So this one is looking a little bit on the orange tip like our L'Oreal Infallible back here. But let me get close. So these are all the shades that foundation said should match Macau, which is right here. Not too shabby, minus this is the main one out. Obviously, they're all different. We're not going to pretend like they're all perfect. But you kind of see. It really don't make no difference if I blend it all out or not, because on my land. It doesn't really matter if I blend it out or not. But I mean, for reference purposes, I just blended all of them out. And as you can see, yes, they're obviously darker than like the under eye area of the face, but you don't really want to match to the lightest areas of your face. Again, you want to go with the darkest shades of your face where it kind of matches your, the rest of your body. And you can match to your neck or your chest. It's honestly your prerogative. I know a lot of people, they face, neck, and chest are all 3 different colors. So you kind of gotta just kind of figure out what works for you and what looks the most appealing to you. So as you can see, this is not too shabby. So this is like more like my summer shade. As you can see, is definitely darker than my current skin tone. And then, so for my winter shade, I have my Fenty Beauty in 385. And this is the Soft Matte Pro Filter Foundation, Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. And I'm just going to, in between, I am wiping my fingers off so they're not mixing. But I'm just going to swatch this. And I know she look light. Okay, she oxidizes. Don't judge. So for this shade, it matched with a few others. And one of them is the Juvia's Place Stick Foundation in Jacmel or Jacmel. And so that's the stick foundation. I like the stick foundation shade a lot. It works really well for the current tone of my skin. So the next one it matched with was the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation, and this is in the shade Cocoa. And I haven't used this in a while, and it probably is expired. It's definitely expired. Ooh, that was a crooked line. M-I, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, humpback, I, Mississippi pride. Anyway, so as you can see, this matches a lot better with Fenty Beauty 385, okay? Yes. And then last but not least, I have not worn this yet, but I foundation matched it and hope it matches. And this is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. And let me see if I can open. Oh, she's cute. She's cute. Oh, she's orange. But she do match with 385. So as you can see, the range is a little bit more spread out. However, 385 is a very unique shade. So I feel like that's why it looks way more different between each shade than it did on this side. But yeah, my favorite shade is Jacmel. Obviously, like I said, foundation isn't going to be a surefire way to find your perfect foundation or an exact comparison to foundations, but it gets you in the ballpark. So if I were to cover these up, blending this out, because honestly, swatches don't do good. You really have to blend it out on your skin and see what it looks like. Because right now, like you can just see the line on the side where I blended it out. It doesn't look as orange or anything like that. So this is 385 Fenty Beauty. I'm going to go ahead and blend out this Huda shade, which I don't know how this is going to look. Because like I said, I literally just opened it. But, oh, that's not bad. She is a little bit more orange, but that's her. She got good coverage. Okay. And I'm just have to blend these. I'm going straight up with the blend. So you can kind of see back here is a little bit more on the orangey side. And then this is a little bit more warm neutral. But again, not too shabby. So over here you have like my summer side, which is a little bit more tan. And on this side you have my like fall wintry shade that is going to be a little bit lighter, but it's still dark enough where when we go in with concealer, we not looking like a ghost. Because what you don't want to do is get a foundation that is like matches this light area of your face, because when you do that, when you get to your neck and when you get to your forehead, it's gonna look like 3 shades too light. So that's why I encourage going a little bit deeper. Like I can still definitely use this shade right now and, you know, tone it up with concealer, or I can use this side right here. Fall is a little bit in between. You can get away with both sides, but as you can see, this side looks more natural, more my current skin tone. This one is a little bit more tan, but with the use of concealer under the eyes, you can brighten it up a little bit. In foundation, you can also search for concealer shades and concealer products. And I think it also lists discontinued products, which is very good because you're able to shade match and find a new foundation that match, like maybe a holy grail you had that's discontinued. So for concealer, I love going up 1 to 2 shades with the same undertone. So for Fenty Beauty, I don't have 385, but 410 is usually my summery shade. And Fenty Beauty concealers, they aren't the same exact as the foundation. They're just a tinge lighter. So 410 is this shade right here. It very much so matches my skin tone. Like I don't have any concealer on this side and it matches that shade. I actually have used 410, 390, and 385 with Fenty Beauty just because they're also workable. Like I said, I think my perfect can be that 385 that I showed you, or NARS Macao. So those are my 2 like holy grail shades that I use. So I put 410 up under the eye, and this is going to give me a natural look. And then if you want to go lighter, I'll just use the same Fenty Beauty concealer. I have it in 360, and I know that's like a big jump from 410 or 385, but when I go down in concealers and they have the undertone match with it, I just go to the next lowest concealer with the same undertone as the foundation. And so this one, as you're gonna see, is way lighter. And the purpose, there's two different ways you can apply concealer. So on this side, you're going to get your more natural look. So I have a lot of people who ask me like, oh my gosh, what concealer shade do you use? How do you know what concealer is right for you? And I like to say it depends on the look you're going for. So if I'm going for a natural look, I'm just going to the store, to the mall, something, I will use a shade that is close to my skin tone, like 410. And so I'm just blending this out so you guys can see it. So on this side, it looks a lot more natural. We do have the tan foundation going on, but if you just look at this side of my face, the under eye and everything looks a lot more natural versus this brighter side is gonna give you more of a dramatic look. So if you're going full glam, if you are going to an event, if you're child, I don't know if you trying to be the cutest on the Zoom call, you're gonna want to go like more than one, like maybe 2 shades lighter. Now I wouldn't say go all the way like up and you my skin complexion, but you using a shade that's like biscuit or something that's like super light, because that's a little tricky if you don't know how to blend it, and it can come off ashy. But as you can see under this eye, it looks a lot brighter, it looks a lot more lifted, but it works, like especially if you have this darker foundation on, you will probably want to go with like a lighter concealer to balance it out. But as you can see, like this side, I'm giving you 2 different things on each side. This side of my face, you're getting more of the natural bronzed goddess. This side, you're getting highlight popping, okay? So that is how you kind of find your concealer shade. I didn't know I was going to go this deep with this video, but I want to go ahead and throw in some contour shade ideas. So contour shade is really tricky. You can go, it's just like concealer. You go deeper, 1 to 2 shades. So bronzing is going to be more like if you went in with, I have Zambia from Juvia's Place, which is really good like bronzing shade. I'll show you guys over here. So it looks like that, which it almost is as deep as this side. But when you blend it out, those sticks blend out very smoothly. So that's why I'm using it as an example. But when you blend it out, it gives me a nice bronze tone, bringing all the dimension back into my face. So I have a nice bright under eye, bronze where my cheeks look, you know, and then that's what this side of the face is looking like. Now, if you want to go like super deep, I really recommend not going too warm or too cool with the undertones and trying to stay a little bit neutral. My first dark shade I got was 470 in the Fenty Beauty concealer, and I'll show y'all how this one is a little red for me. It's a little red for me, I'm not gonna lie. It's a good level of deepness, but it comes off a little bit, you might not can see it on this camera, but it comes off a little bit more red for me. But you can see how much more dynamic that is versus this one. So this is the difference between going just 1 shade deeper than your foundation shade or going like super deep. So really, you wouldn't want to put no super dark with this natural look, but you know, that's what we're looking like. So I think that covers it all. That's all I have for this video. This foundation matching thing might be a series in itself eventually, not right now, but eventually. But I just wanted to share with y'all like my different shade matching routines, techniques, foundation, and any comparison charts you can find online are definitely helpful for people who have no idea what to foundation, like what shade they should do. I would just recommend like going to Walmart, just like we did in the original video. Hold your hand up to it, hold your face up to it, and you're just gonna, at the end of the day, almost 99% of the time, you're not gonna just get the perfect shade on your first guess or your first foundation you choose. So it's gonna be beneficial to be okay with not getting the right foundation the first time. A lot of times you can return it, especially if you're at like, if you shop at Ulta or Sephora. But with drugstore foundations, I would recommend using those foundations to find your shade because it's less of an investment versus you purchasing a higher end foundation. Now, higher end, you can definitely, I'm sure it'll probably be easier to return to Sephora versus like Walmart. If you're buying like your foundation from the makeup section in Walmart, I'm not sure. I don't really return makeup. So if you do return makeup, share your stories in the comments. But I just wanted to kind of let y'all know, if you're trying to figure it out and you have absolutely no idea, go in the store, have a friend come with you, and just like hold your hand up next to the bottle and be like, or even your face, you could be like, that looks okay, it looks a little dark. Or like, that looks a little light, but I'm not sure. And you always have to remember that how it looks in the bottle is not necessarily how it's going to look on your face. There's some products who don't even, it's not even clear where you can see the shade. So you only have pictures online. So it's a lot of different ways you can kind of guesstimate and get in the ballpark of what your foundation shade, your concealer and contour shade is. So just be willing to try it and see if it works. And if it doesn't, you'll have your first foundation you purchase. That'll give you like a spectrum on like, okay, where do I go from here? So if you get the Makeup Revolution foundation in F13 and you swatch it and it's super light, you know, okay, anything above F13 is definitely not my shade. So then you start working your way back, checking the undertones, making sure they kind of align, and going from there. And you can also kind of shade match based off of people you may see on YouTube or Instagram. Now, a lot of times it's a little bit hard because like we edit our pictures on Instagram, or most people edit their pictures on Instagram. On YouTube, like right now, I do have studio lighting in here, so it's true to match, but it's also like the different lighting I'm in is gonna look different. If I turn my ring light off, I look a lot darker. So it also just depends on like the lighting situation that you're in. So you don't want to just like go off of someone who might look like your skin tone online and then you're like, oh, well, they wear Fenty 385, that's my shade. You can guesstimate, yes, but I wouldn't just be like, oh, me and Slim got the same skin tone, look like, so I'm gonna just buy everything she got. Test it out, okay? Test it out for yourself. All of our skin is different. Also, when you're buying foundation, you want to be conscious of the formula. So if you have dry skin, you probably want to stay away from matte foundations. Matte means dull or flat without having shine. So if you have dry skin, you want to stay away from those dull or they're not really even dull, they're just matte products. You want to kind of stay away from those because it may dry out your skin even more, so you go with the opposite. So if you have dry skin, you want to go with a dewy foundation. If you have oily skin, you're probably going to want to go with a matte foundation. Just different things like that. One last tidbit I want to throw in. I have people ask me all the time about setting powder and the shade of setting powder. The shade of setting powder should be in my opinion, either translucent or similar to your concealer shade. So I have a lot of like yellow, banana, child, I got all kind of shades. But your translucent is gonna be like, it looks about white, okay? But it's translucent, so once you apply it, it doesn't dissolve, but it just like fades into translucent, because that's what it is. It's a translucent powder. And so your translucent powder really is just gonna set the concealer like that. So you see, this is giving me matte, this is giving me shiny because this side isn't set, so that's matte. And then if you do a more yellow powder, yellow is a great color for brightening. So a lot of people who want to brighten under their eye, they go with a more yellow powder. And so I'm just gonna put my yellow powder on this side. I'm using the opposite side of the brush. And as you can see, this side looks a little bit brighter. This is really just set the color that's there. This brightens it up a little bit. If you have any dark circles and things like that, you can brighten it with yellow, or kind of cancel it out with maybe a peachy setting powder shade. And setting powder is not synonymous with setting spray. Y'all ask me that all the time. Setting powder and setting spray are not interchangeable. Setting spray sets powder products. Setting powder sets cream liquid products. So that's why you put on your foundation and concealer, which is cream and liquid, and you set it with a powder. Then once you set it with a powder, you go in with a setting spray to set the powder. So you'll do that, and that'll bring a little bit more, it'll make all your makeup basically like melt together and not just be like a whole bunch of powder sitting on your face. So this video was long. My makeup look a mess. I just want to share with y'all how I've been finding my foundation with foundation.com. This is not sponsored. It should be, but I'm just trying to let y'all know how I've been getting it out of the mud, okay? This is how I've been figuring out my foundation shade online. Like I said, it's always a hit. It can be a hit or miss, either or. It's not going to be spot on every time, and that's okay, all right? If you got coins like that, buy multiple foundations at once, but if you're cheap like me, go to the stove and put your face next to that bottle and try and figure it out, alright? Or use foundation and get ones that are not exactly the same, but similar. So that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all enjoying the fall intro with my little bob wig. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. But that's all I have for you guys. I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for supporting me. We on the road to 200K. I feel like we was just at 100K yesterday. Anyway, shout out to all the giveaway winners. The giveaway boxes have been sent out and everything like that. So I just wanted to let y'all know, because the giveaway was on Instagram, but I did let y'all know on YouTube. So I wanted to let y'all know that the giveaway winners have been selected and their shipments have been sent. So yes, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. If you've watched this far and you are not subscribed, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing, sis? Go ahead and subscribe down below. Join the gym squad. That basically means you're joining a community of people committed to loving themselves authentically and living a positive life. So go ahead and subscribe. While you're down there, make sure you like this video, give it a huge thumbs up. It helps me out a lot and lets me know that you guys enjoy these videos. So go ahead and like this video, turn on your post notifications so you never miss an upload, and without further ado, y'all never forget, at the end of the day, without regrets, love yourself and be you to full. Bye guys.